Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous female left behind and forward-moving spouse with a bomb drop of January 31st, 2023, a date of marriage of 2011. She has an at-home MLCer who is a low-energy wallower. She says, my MLCer mentioned the alienator's name while he was sleeping. He said something like, "Did you hear that noise? Did you hear that noise, Lou?" while touching my shoulder. And then he kept on sleeping. So actually he called me by her name. He was drunk and he fell asleep soon after some friends left our home on Saturday night. I was by his side watching a movie. What do you think this means? Why would you, out of all names of people you know in the world, mention that particular person? Someone you haven't had any contact with in the last year and a half and who belongs to your past, as he has reassured me. Should I be worried? What do I do? It left me feeling insecure, like he's at home with me, but she has the power. She has the power first because you're giving her that. Okay. Now, second, in your last question in August, you said he's still hiding his phone. That's your clue. He's still hiding his phone. I would be more worried about the hiding his phone than about him calling out her name. There's a red flag, certainly. I see a bigger red flag when he is hiding his phone. Because imagine that he's remembering something and he went to sleep thinking about that, and so he called you Lou. Or he's remembering something from last week, not last year. But you were having more suspicions that were big red flags of hiding something in August. He's reassured you that she's no longer there. But the thing is, what are the two of you doing about that? Where's the counseling? Where's the therapy? Because without that, this isn't going to get resolved. Without going to something that is above your pay grade. In other words, this is not something that you two can fix together on your own. Especially not when he's still broken, obviously. So what about therapy? And I know we say marriage counseling doesn't work when you're in midlife crisis, and that's true. But at the same time, you need therapy. And that doesn't mean that he doesn't need it. He's a low energy wallower, so he needs something for his depression. And yes, I know they're going to be resistant. What I say about therapy is I do believe in trying therapy. I believe that it also might be a little bit more beneficial with a low energy wallower who's at home than with a high energy replayer who is living with their alienator. I mean, there's no point then, really. You wait. But when he's at home, he's not leaving. He's not making an attempt to leave. He's moping. He's just being so he's not trying physically marriage. Sorry, what's going on with the screen? My head is in different places than what I'm seeing. So if I'm not connected voice-wise, I apologize. So I really want you to think about getting some therapy if he'll go with. If not, then go on your own anyway. But this is a situation that is above your pay grade. It's not something you can say, we can work on this by him turning in his phone and him changing his phone number, and him being accountable and these things. He doesn't understand what you went through as a betrayed spouse when he cheated on you. And he doesn't understand, and maybe you don't understand. Maybe neither of you has an understanding of what you have given up with the infertility treatments and the infertility itself, and not going through that now. And that causes a toll on a couple as well. I think there's a higher rate of divorce among couples who go through infertility treatments and infertility. And so maybe you need some help for that. I'm not thinking of it as marriage counseling, but emotional support for the feelings that have come through that. In the same way that couples who lose a child to death have a higher rate of divorce. And sometimes that is because one is grieving in one way and the other is grieving in their own way. And, well, you're not grieving in the proper way. It's like, how did they just move on? And then they get mad at them. And then there's arguments. And then, well, she's blaming me and she's arguing with me. And you both have different ways of processing grief. And if you don't go through some therapy to understand it, same way with your infertility, you're processing some of your grief, and he's depressed. You know that. He's a low energy wallower. And how is he handling his depression? He handles his depression by that depression's dirty secret is infidelity. He's handling this depression. Maybe he was drunk and he called out her name. So is he drinking too much? He'll be handling his depression with alcohol. He's handling depression by avoiding. He goes inward. That is depression, turning inward. And he needs help for it. You plural, as a couple, need help for that. You need help for what the toll, some of things that neither of you are responsible for, but that life has thrown at you, the toll that's taking. And, kind of like if your house burned down and it wasn't your fault, but what do you think it would affect you? Yeah. It's not your fault that he's infertile and that you have had to go through infertility for IVF, or is it IVF treatments. It's not your fault, but you chose to go through them together. And that has an emotional toll. You're taking hormones, so it changes, how you might interact with each other. This takes a toll on a relationship. And now the relationship needs some help. Okay. So that's what I want you to think about when you're targeting what needs to be done here. Okay. Rather than focusing on, what he called out her name. Is he still seeing her? He might be. But I want you to focus on what kind of things both of you have been dealing with privately that you're not even understanding each other, and that how somebody who is trained, a therapist, can help you through that. Okay. I hope this is helpful, and I will see everybody in the next question.